crucial that if athletes want to become more well-rounded, if they want to learn the game a little bit more and expand their skill set, I think it's crucial that they're playing beach or playing grass and finding opportunities to get out there and play outside.
Hey guys, welcome back. You're joined with Adam Ellis, Club Director at NPJ, and Colton Naill, Head Coach at Multnomah University. Colton, welcome. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thanks, Adam. Appreciate this and all you're doing for the sport while we're in a tough time. It's awesome to see you out there working hard every single day. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, stoked to be able to do this and be able to get content out to our kids. Hey, I want to start with a few questions. So first, where did your passion for volleyball start? Walk us through your playing experience with both indoor and beach.
Yep. So it all started back home in Pennsylvania. I'm an East Coast guy, and I learned the game from my dad. He didn't have much of a formal background in the game. He just learned it from his softball buddies, and we started playing doubles together. We were in a sand league when I was 13, and he wasn't the best teammate and partner, but he instilled a love for the game, and I found an excellent community in our sport. So as I got older, I came, of course, volleyball's big in Pennsylvania, especially on the boys' side. So I had a tremendous high school career and, a great club to play for. And that helped set up my coaching career one day. I didn't really realize it at the time. Of course, it was all about playing, but the mentors that I had, the coaches that I had, they all set me up to have a coaching career one day. So really blessed and fortunate that I came from an area that was big in boys volleyball and allowed me to play at a Division I school. So played at George Mason. I recruited myself. I did not get recruited by the big D1 schools. Of course, being from Pennsylvania, I wanted to play for Penn State, but they didn't want me. So found a great Division I option and got to play a lot. Kind of got derailed when I broke my ankle. I had 2 surgeries on my ankle, and that set me back. But it didn't stop me from coaching, and I began coaching camps. And I love the game. I love the camaraderie. I love the community, and I love seeing athletes improve and get better and enjoy the game. So that was all I needed to start my coaching career.
Love it. So when you're recruiting, how often do you watch warm-ups? And would lack of effort in warm-ups turn you away from watching an athlete?
Well, certainly a lack of effort is going to turn, I think, any coach off from an athlete. It's one of the things that we can control. They're decisions that we make. Effort's definitely decisions. So it definitely is a turnoff. However, in warm-ups, I kind of like to give these athletes the benefit of the doubt. I don't think a great warm-up leads to a great match or a crappy warm-up leads to a crappy match. So I've seen a little bit of both. But in terms of what I'm looking for, it all depends on the position that I'm recruiting for. I like to see what these athletes can do. And if it's a position that I'm recruiting for, I'll watch a little bit more. But if it's an athlete who's kind of in the mix, warm-ups are typically a pretty good indication of what you can do. It's a chance for us to see your skills and to see you perform them in a low pressure situation. Obviously a match is much different, and we see a different outcome sometimes, but typically I like to give athletes the benefit of the doubt and see what they can do in the match.
Yeah, I love that you're able to spend the time and watch them throughout the match. A lot of coaches will just, watch warm-ups and then walk away.
For sure. And if you're at a tournament like the Triple Crown, it can be overwhelming trying to find all your athletes and get to every single court because there's 100 courts that you could go watch. So sometimes that is the only chance we get to see these athletes perform those skills. And I know some parents can get stressed out because their kid might not be on the court, or we don't get to see them getting set or making plays. So it definitely is a chance for us to see what they can do, but it doesn't make the decision for me based on a warm-up.
That makes a lot of sense. Hey, how do you feel about player getting specific with what position they're going to play? Or are you more of the mindset of developing 6 rotation players that can play multiple positions?
That's a great question. So I think in terms of younger players who are learning the game and trying to figure out where they are in the game, I think it's so important that they become well-rounded, whether that be learning all the positions indoors or playing a ton of beach. The younger you are, I think it's crucial to learn all the skills and to develop all your skills, because from what I've seen at the older elite levels of high school club volleyball, the teams that have those specialized players and positions typically are pretty strong. If you have big, good middles, if you have a dynamic setter, if you have strong right sides and talented outside hitters and a good libero, all those pieces are gonna are going to come together and hopefully give you a pretty good result. So could you do that with 6 rotation, well-rounded players? I definitely agree and think that's possible. But I think at the highest levels, those teams have specialized and are giving their players really intense, specific skill training. So you see those well-rounded players perform well on the beach. I think of, a Reed Pretty or a Taylor Crabb right off the top of my head, those players that, they're solid 6 rotation outsides and they can take all those skills to the beach. Maybe you see a guy like David Lee every now and then who played middle on the national team for years, who's now playing beach. So maybe it doesn't necessarily cross over to beach and indoor, but I think at the high levels, I think teams that specialize typically end up doing pretty well.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
But definitely for young players, you got to learn every single skill. You got to be proficient at each skill. You want to have a knowledge of each position, and that'll make you well-rounded and make you a key player for whatever team you end up on.
So, we've seen a lot of our players that are really, elite outsides at maybe the club level that end up being DS liberos, at the collegiate level. Can you talk to that a little bit?
Well, it's a tough game at the college level. You're playing against some of the biggest, strongest players at the net, and they're there for a reason. So it can be really challenging for average sized outside or opposite to hang at the college level. So, again, it comes back to the skill acquisition. If you're working hard in practice on all your skills, you're going to, and you're bettering the ball. I think that's what it really comes down to, is your ability to improve the rally. And I think your coach will find playing time for you if you can improve the rally. And that could be as a front row outside, or it could be as a libero DS. But I think what's really critical is that these players understand the game and how to improve rallies. It all comes down to bettering the ball.
And scoring points, right?
That's how you win games, for sure.
Hey, so at your previous club, you won the first ever gold medal at GJNC with your 17-1s, winning USA Division in 2015. You also led your 13-1s to the Volleyball Festival gold medal. What can you tell us about that experience and what those teams had in common? What were some common factors?
Yeah, those were some really fun teams to coach. What's interesting about those teams, and of course it was the USA Division and it was Festival. It's not the Open National Championship, which we were ultimately striving for, but these teams wanted to win. They really, really wanted to win. And they were super bought in terms of what we were teaching at practice. So I can think of, and even though it was years and years ago, I think of our last couple practices that we had with those teams, and they were pretty dialed in. They were very committed. It wasn't just we're going to show up and see how it goes. They were in the mindset that we're going to go do this thing. We're going to play hard. We're going to win some matches. It might be tough and it might be a struggle, but they wanted to win. It was simple as that. So it was really cool to coach a team who wanted it that bad. And they proved it on the court. They outplayed everyone they played against. In terms of the festival, the only match we lost, and this was kind of funny about the format, we went undefeated until the finals, and then we actually lost the finals. But it was a double elimination tournament. So because that was our first loss, we got to play an extra set, and then we won that extra set. So it was a strange tournament in terms of that dynamic. But and then I think back at junior nationals in 2015 with my 17s, we went 1-2 on day one. It looked bleak on day one, but we were in a 17 power pool. We squeaked by in day two, and then ended up winning the whole thing. So it was about peaking at the right time. We had healthy athletes, so certainly that helped, is that we were all healthy at the right time, and we had a deep bench. And again, it came down to us playing just a little bit harder than those other teams, because quite simply, they wanted it. My team really, really wanted to win, and they proved it.
So you have a pretty extensive experience coaching boys volleyball. You've won 3 gold medals at boys junior Olympics, 3 in a row from 2016 to 2018. That's something that not very many people can say they've done. Talk to us about the boys game and what you feel led to that success, both on and off the court.
Yeah, a couple great years at Balboa Bay, and certainly a credit goes to the leadership there and the history that they've had. They've been around since 1975, so for many years they've been the big dogs, and I was fortunate enough to be a part of that and coach some really talented teams. So the boys game it's really fun to coach the boys. I'm not saying I like one more than the other, because that's certainly not true. I just love coaching the game, but it's fun to see the boys do it. They just don't have as many opportunities as the girls do. So to be able to be involved and to show them what you could do in this game and where you could go. And to see those guys go on and have college careers is really awesome and rewarding. But what it really comes down to for those guys is a lot what I said earlier about my T Street teams, is that they really wanted it. They wanted to win. They were willing to work hard. They busted their butts in practice, and then they went and outplayed teams. And what's interesting, when we won the back-to-back Open National Championship, and I was the assistant coach, we had a good 17 year. We finished second in every tournament until junior nationals, and then we finally won that one. We played the same team in every single finals, and we finally peaked at the right time at junior nationals. And then the following year, when they were 18, which drove me crazy, we had this kind of mantra that was, we were never worried. And the guys would say that all the time. We could be down in set one, 7-15, never worried. We could be down 3-8 in set three on a side switch. They're never worried. And my gosh, those guys would find a way to turn it on. They were really, really good at turning it on and being the better team when their best was required. And it was frustrating as a coach, because sometimes you'd think they were going cruise control, but we were so solid in every position and every rotation that when they wanted to turn it on, good things were going to happen. And it was a great run for those 2 years, and I'm really proud of those guys. And it was great to see them play in their college season while that was happening. Unfortunately, it got shut down, but we'll see them again next spring. So I'm excited for the careers of those guys. But it was really fun coaching the boys, and I hope to see some boys volleyball grow up in Oregon, because it's a tremendous sport, and there's a lot of great opportunities out there for those guys. So I'd love to be a part of it even more and get the boys volleyball going up in Oregon. Maybe an NPJ boys team one day. We'll see.
We're looking at it.
That's cool.
You want to build it, we're all for it.
That would be really cool, man. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I had some great mentors and leadership down at Balboa Bay. I learned a lot from those coaches. Definitely some different styles of coaching in terms of how much or how little we're teaching these kids, combined with gameplay. So a really tremendous opportunity for me to learn as a coach different ways, different styles of teaching. Of course, we're all teaching the same system, but in a very different way. From Andy Reid, who is our 17s coach, coaches at Long Beach and helps out with the national team, to Rocky Ciarelli, who is a longtime Long Beach legend and used to coach at SC. Very, very different styles, but both of their coaching, led their teams to national championships. And I was really happy to be a part of it and see how both styles work for these guys.
It's kind of hard to argue with that much success.
Well, yeah, and anything those guys say, we were sponges. I think that was the great thing about all the players and assistant coaches, is that when we were in the gym with these excellent leaders, we were total sponges. There was no disagreement or no challenging these coaches. We all had different ideas that contributed to our practice plans, but we all had so much trust in these coaches because of their experience and what they've done in the past, and everybody was very, very bought in. And then I was really fortunate to coach a group. My last 2 years, I had a 17-2s and an 18-2s, and we won 17 USA, which was tremendous. I got to coach them again for one last ride, and to be able to bring everything that I've learned and teach those guys and pass it along, it was really rewarding, and it's something I'll never forget.
So let's switch over to the beach game a little bit. What is your favorite part about coaching beach? And do you think playing beach helps athletes develop and their development for indoor?
Yeah, I'm going to answer that second part of your question first. Absolutely, 100%. I think it's crucial that these athletes are going out and playing beach or playing grass. Of course, I come from Pennsylvania. We don't have a whole lot of beachfront property, but we have tons of grass volleyball. And again, I think if you're out there playing, I'm just going to call it doubles or triples. If you're playing with a small number of people on the court, it allows for more touches and for you to be more involved. And I believe it's crucial that if athletes want to become more well-rounded, if they want to learn the game a little bit more and expand their skill set, I think it's crucial that they're playing beach or playing grass and finding opportunities to get out there and play outside. In terms of my favorite part about coaching beach, it's definitely nice to get outside, to be in the sand, and to coach the chess match rather than the rock and roll of indoor volleyball, where it's fast paced and you have all these people on the court. It's fun to slow it down a little bit and focus more on you and your partner and the connection that you have with your teammates. So being able to play the beach game definitely expands your skill set, makes you a more well-rounded player. And personally, I think it's more fun. I think it's a heck of a lot of fun to get out there and play beach or play grass, and especially when the weather's nice. You just can't beat being outside.
Definitely. I couldn't agree more with that. I started playing beach when I moved up to Oregon, ironically enough, from California.
That's super ironic, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, with a tournament like Seaside, even if you're not a hardcore beach player, I think it's impossible to not have fun out there. Of course, you want to win and you want to play well, but just the chance to be out on the beach, to be in a community like that where where everybody's having fun and playing some good ball, and you get to see all your friends. There's just nothing better than that. We have the Pottstown Rumble back in Pennsylvania, which is our version of Seaside. It's on the grass, but it's just as big and just as fun. But whether it's that or the Wapaka boat ride or the Mother Lode out in Aspen, these outdoor tournaments are just a great chance for us to be together as a community and enjoy the sport we all love so much. So, whether you're winning or losing, it's all about the community. It's about having fun. And I think there's no more fun sport than volleyball.
So let's go back to your success, Colton. You've won about a half a dozen gold medals as a coach. What is the advice you can give teams that are reaching to achieve that gold medal finish?
That's the ultimate goal. It's what we train for all year long. And for sure, it's about peaking at the right time. For sure, it's about having the best athletes. That's definitely a part of it. But we put a lot of value, and I say this as an MPJ coach and as a Multnomah coach, into what we're doing in practice. We don't just go cruise control in practice and show up. It's very planned out, and there's a reason why we do the drills, why we do the skill acquisition, the system improvements, and it all leads to success in a tournament, or hopefully leads to success in a tournament. So whether that's hammering in our ball control at the beginning of the year, being really great in serve receive allows us the opportunities to find success. So I think, and I look back to my teams, whether that be my boys or my girls teams, and I think we've definitely out ball controlled many of the teams that we beat in earlier rounds. And what I mean by that is we've allowed our opponents to make more errors than us, even if we weren't always scoring points and maybe not necessarily crushing teams, but we were outlasting these teams because we were better volleyball players. We could keep the ball in the air a little bit longer. We had a little bit more control than our opponents, and our system worked just a little bit better. So there are matches where we beat teams that we shouldn't have beaten, or maybe matchups that didn't work in our favor, but we still won because we were able to minimize mistakes and capitalize on some really crucial opportunities. So, you're not going to win every point, but it's about creating good opportunities. And I felt that my championship teams have all been really, really solid ball control teams and have done a great job defensively of keeping the floor clean and giving us a chance for our offense to score a point.
So when you're recruiting athletes at Multnomah, give me a list of your top 3 things you look for when you're recruiting.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. And I'm speaking in terms of what we need right now. We're still looking at setters and middles. So I'm going to go to a court and I'm going to watch the setter. I'm going to take a look at how they move in terms of their defense, their posture, their footwork, their ability to run down a ball, and their ability to put the ball in front of a teammate, how they distribute. So for sure, I want a dynamic setter who can locate, who can find their teammates, and then who's a good leader too. And in terms of middles, can they close the block? Are they getting off the net in transition? Do they have the range to find the entire court and put some heat on the ball? But I think one of the bigger things that I look at is I try to figure out who these players are in terms of their personality and how they interact with their teammates. You want a good teammate. You want someone who's energetic and who loves the game. And you can certainly tell that when you watch players play. And I can think back to a player that I had a couple years ago who totally showed no emotion. And I think as a coach, that would be a challenge to recruit the kid because you see what they can do, but they're very flat in terms of their energy. So, we like to see the energy. We like to see athletes that control the controllables. I think that's one of the biggest messages that I've taught my teams. And it's something that I learned from Alan Knipe, who's the head men's volleyball coach at Long Beach State. We had a mentor night at Balboa, and he simply said that one of the first things they talk about in their culture is controlling the controllables, your attitude, your effort, your communication. These are all decisions that you have to make, and they could be good or they could be bad decisions. So you can tell right away if a player is controlling the controllables. Do they give the effort? Are they communicating with their teammates? Are they encouraging their teammates? And it can become pretty obvious. So we definitely want to see that. And then lastly, can you make plays? And I don't mean, are you going to make plays against your future opponents when we go and play Southern Oregon or Eastern Oregon or Corbin, but are you making plays right now against your current opponent? Are you contributing to the rally, or are you just taking up some space? And we try to find those athletes who are making plays, who are working hard and bettering the ball, and most importantly to me is being a great teammate. I feel pretty confident at this point that I can teach you the skills and that we can put you in the system, but I want to see great teammates out there. I want players that enjoy the camaraderie of the game and working with their teammates for that common goal of winning a match and winning a tournament.
Definitely. Well, Colton Naill, head coach, Multnomah University, thank you very much for taking the time to join us today, buddy.
You're the best, Adam. Can't wait till we can hang out again soon.
Love it. Looking forward to it.
Okay. Take care, man. Thanks again. Peace.